Bookcase and Coffee presents Buzzing About Romance, a quick shot of romance.
Hey everyone, welcome to Buzzing About Romance, a quick shot of romance. It is an author spotlight edition. And for this author spotlight, we are chatting with author Cali Melle, and we are celebrating her latest release, Splintered Ice. Welcome to the podcast, Cali.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm going to read your bio real quick, and then we're going to get to know you.
Okay.
Cali Melle is a contemporary romance author who loves writing stories that will pull at your heartstrings. You can always expect her stories to come fully equipped with heartthrobs and a happy ending, along with some steamy scenes and some sports action. In her free time, Cali can usually be found spending time with her family or with her nose in a book. We're so excited to have you here. Splintered Ice is a new adult hockey romance. They're college.
Yes.
And this is what, book 6 in your series? 7?
This is 6.
Okay.
Yes, book 6.
So I will say I read this as a standalone. I like to do that for our listening audience so they know if a book truly can stand up on its own. And listeners, this absolutely can. You do a great job of kind of taking us into this world.
Oh, thank you.
So let's spend a minute and get to know you. Are you a lifelong reader, or is this a more recent kind of, I'm an adult and don't have to worry about homework reader?
No, I was the kid that I remember I was in I think it was 4th grade. I got detention for reading a book when it was not supposed to be time to do free reading. So yeah, I've been a lifelong reader.
I love that. I used to have to take my child's library books away from her so she would focus on her schoolwork.
Oh.
It's like the weirdest thing as a mom. If you can't get your schoolwork done, you don't get your library books.
I mean, I don't see that as a problem though, too.
No, it's not. It's a good problem to have, actually.
Yes, exactly.
So where's your favorite place to read?
I don't know. I like to lately I've been reading on my couch a lot. If I read. I've been struggling with reading, but I don't know. I'm like a super comfy, cozy person, so I live in sweatpants. I have comfy pillows and blankets, and so anywhere that's a little cozy nook that I can be warm in.
I'm all for that. In the summer, I love to read on my deck outside. I live outside in the summer.
Yeah.
I even got the waterproof Kindle so that I can read in the pool. Because I'm notorious for dropping.
I don't have one of those.
What do you love most about writing and sharing your stories?
I like getting lost in the fictional world. It's so weird if you think about it. It's almost like you're hallucinating when you're creating these worlds, because it's just something that you conjure up in your brain and you just bring it to life. My grandma used to take me to the mall all the time when I was a kid, and we would sit and we would people watch. And our thing was creating scenarios for these people. And I still do it to this day that I see people in public. I have a whole life story for these people. And it's now I get to do that with fictional people.
I love to do that at the coffee shop, when you're waiting at Starbucks for your drink to be ready and you see these people and you're like,
Yeah, you try to figure it out, and then you just go off.
Yeah.
In your brain.
Are you one of those authors that hears the voices? Do your characters speak to you? I know we say that and it makes it sound like we think you're crazy. We're not.
Yeah, they do, and they take over. I try to plot, and then I never stick to the plot because I'll just be writing and then something happens and I'm like, oh, I guess this is what we're doing now.
How do you come up with names for your characters? Because in these books, this is a group of friends, they're a hockey team, and there's sisters and there's roommates and side characters, and naming has to be a challenge.
So I literally go to the baby name websites.
Do you?
And I just scour through the lists and I'm like, that's it. That's the one that I want to use. There's nothing special behind it.
It's just random, whatever name speaks to you that day.
Yeah, whoever my FBI agent is that watches my search history probably thinks that I have 1 million children or something.
Everyone's always saying to me, Becky, just get in incognito mode. And I'm like, no, it's more fun because I like to see the random like Instagram ads or the
Mhm.
random things they suggest that I would like.
Oh yeah.
I think it's more fun,
Yeah, it keeps it interesting.
right? Um, and I share my Amazon account with my spouse, and so just it's just something fun to do, right? Keeps things
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
How long have you been writing?
Um, Under this pen name or in general?
Just in general, like how long have you been an author?
Well, so my dark pen name I started releasing in 2017, I think,
Okay.
under that name. Um, so I've as far as like writing and actively working on books, it has been since 2016. Before that, it was just, like free writing.
Hmm.
It was never anything serious. So however long it's been since 2016.
So it's kind of a jump to go from dark romance into new adult hockey sports romance. What was the
Yeah.
catalyst for the change? What inspired this?
Well, okay, so the dark romance that I was writing, because it was about drug addiction, was very draining, like
Sure.
mentally. Like I would be in that world and then I would come out of it and I would be like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't like depressed, but it was really, really heavy stuff. And my husband, he actually used to play hockey, and like when we met, he played hockey, and now my son plays hockey and my daughter figure skates, and we're like a hockey household. That's literally what's on our TV like all the time. So it was just like, all right, this is the only sport that I really know, and this is what my life revolves around right now. So
But that's good because as I was reading this, I don't know much about, I'm not a sports person. I don't know much about hockey. I did go to a university that had a hockey team. I went to games, as a student and
yeah.
stuff. Um, but like, I actually had one of our contributors who her screen name is Minnesota Hockey Mom Reads. Like, she is a hockey mom. It rules their life. And I'm like, you should read this because there's so much accurate hockey. And she read one of your earlier books and she's like, this might be some of the best hockey
Oh, thank
that she
you.
read. So obviously, living the life is helping with that.
I literally, I went to the rink today. I think we got there around 4 and got home around 8 because my daughter had all her figure skating stuff, and then we had hockey practice, and now here I am.
Now here you are. Um, okay, so you have a new book releasing. We are dropping this episode on February the 7th, but this book actually releases on February 3rd. It is Splintered Ice. It is book 6 um, in your college hockey romance. The tropes are siblings best friend, which I'm a fool for. I just uh new adult college, and it is a sports hockey romance. Did I miss any other tropes that were in this one?
um, Grumpy Sunshine.
Grumpy Sunshine.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he really was kind of grouchy.
yeah,
Like,
he was. He was kind of mean.
yeah, well, he's so, and we aren't going to spoil this because I really want people to hop over to Kindle Unlimited and pick it up and check this book out. Um, but yeah, he was like not interested in being the nice guy, and at some point he's like, okay, fine, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, and then he gets all soft.
And then he does. Um, so why choose hockey new adult over, say, a professional team? What kind of goes through your brain when you make that choice?
Um, I I don't really know. I just I like the college vibes because they're not like fully locked down to like responsibility with being an adult, and they're still trying to like figure out life. Not that even adults that we have life figured out, but
Right.
um I don't know. I feel like it just adds a different like it's a different vibe when it's the new adult like college age because they're still having fun, and then it's not like necessarily like the first love, but it is kind of like it's like the first real love unless you have that first love from
High school or
high school
something.
that lasts forever. Yeah. I do. I have a professional series coming later this year though.
Oh,
So,
that's
yes.
exciting. That does not make me sad to hear. As I was telling you before we logged on, new adult can be tricky for me just because I have children and individuals that I'm responsible for that are new adults. Um, but this was really well done. There is some angst, and Olivia does have some moments of immaturity. There was one moment, and I don't want to give specifics away, but I was like, sister, seriously. It's the same kind of conversation you'd have with your children where you're like, could we just make some better choices here?
As I was writing them, I was like, why are we doing this, guys? Like, why?
I think you're smarter than this. Um, or at least you hope.
Yeah, right.
So Olivia and Sterling are very much opposites. He's kind of outgoing and she is quiet and more reserved. What's the hardest part of writing opposites?
The hardest part. Kind of finding like an even ground, like making a connection between them when they are so far like opposite. I mean,
Yeah. Well, to find that balance has to be difficult because you don't want to lose the integrity of who the character is, but there's got to be something in the middle that connects them.
yeah, for sure.
Um, why do you like to write opposites, Trek? Because I was looking back and you have at least one other book in this series that they're Grumpy Sunshine opposites.
Yeah, I don't, there's just something about like the opposites. It's almost like I don't know. I really like that. I like the forbidden, like, it's brother's best friend, sister's, or not sister, oh my gosh. Best friend's brother, or like the enemies to lovers. I feel like all of them, I don't know. I don't know. The opposites attract, I feel like is kind of like those in a way too, because there's not necessarily a forbidden element to the opposites attract, but they like it's almost more like enemies to lovers. Like they don't like each other. The opposites attract. They have nothing in common. So what really like pulls them to each other? So you kind of like find parts that you wouldn't necessarily notice at first that
Yeah.
end up pulling them together. If that makes sense. I might have just
Absolutely.
rambled.
No, it's fine because actually it does. What it does is it creates chemistry, it creates angst between them, but not in such a way that the angst is like too much.
Yeah.
It creates this chemistry, and as a reader, it pulls us in. Um, so I can see that, but I do think it has, for it to be done well, it has to be a challenge. And you did it exceptionally well in this
Mhm.
book. So you might have rambled, but it worked.
Sometimes my brain struggles a little bit and
That's
I
okay.
ramble.
That's okay. We all ramble. Um, so Sterling comes off as kind of distant and a bit of an ass.
Mhm.
But we slowly see his softer points as the story goes on. Because if you guys stop by like chapter 3, you're going to be like, oh, dude's a jerk. I'm going to punch him.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, because he was kind of the epitome of like the expected jock from college or high school. Like,
Yeah, he wanted nothing to do with her. He was like,
yeah. I like the one scene where he begrudgingly is like, he meets her after class and he's like, have you eaten? She's like, no. And he realizes he has to, like, he should drive and not make her walk.
yeah, I know. She's freezing and like shivering and holding her body. He's like, all right, get in my car. Like, come on.
Right. But he was so, like, not nice. Like, he wasn't mean, but it was just like he was
Right
so
there.
put out that he had
Mhm.
manners. It's like, dude,
Yeah, he was fun.
he was. So, what do you want people to know about Sterling? Just to, like, give him time. What do you want people to know about him?
He's really not the asshole that he seems like he is. I promise.
He does get better.
He does. You just have to gotta give him a little time to warm up.
You did. About 35% into the book, I was like, okay. I
Yeah,
don't
he
know if I
gets
was totally Team Sterling, but by the end, I was absolutely Team Sterling. um, what would you say the overall theme of this book is?
I don't know.
I think it just was about compromises, really. They both kind of had to let go of some first impressions and past experiences to be able to be present.
Yeah, and probably like growth for both of them,
Yeah.
from going from being so like cold and distant to actually like letting her in, getting to know her. Like both of their character arcs are different, and I think growth would be a big part of that.
But they do come together, and even though they're college, it definitely has an HEA feel to it. It didn't feel just HFN. So I do think that these are people that will be together for the long haul.
Yeah. In
Uh,
my mind.
in my mind too, so that means it must be true. Um, what is the one thing you hope readers will take away when they read these your new adult books? What's the one thing you hope readers take away?
I hope it not like there's any like lessons or anything, but just to provide some kind of like an escape for them that I just hope that they enjoy it. I mean,
Yeah.
a nice little break from reality.
Really, but that's, I think, what romance readers want. They just want to be able to escape into another world and, you know, live vicariously through these characters. And we talk about this a lot on the podcast. A lot of times, the way we talk about these books and review these characters, if anybody else in the world came in and was listening to us talk about them, they would think that we were talking about real humans.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was talking with somebody about a book yesterday, and I was like, yeah, I just felt like they could have made some better choices. I would have counseled them to make this choice. And my friend was like, we remember they're fictional, right? Yes. Yes, I do.
Doesn't change anything.
Doesn't change that I think they should have said something or done something different.
Yeah.
So Splintered Ice is out now and available in Kindle Unlimited. What is next for you?
There are 2 more books in the series, and then after that, I have one that is not a hockey book. It's still in the same world, kind of. There might be like a character cameo, but that one is a definitely a much more emotional book. But that one's just...
Is Sterling's sister going to get a book?
Yes, hers is next.
Okay. I really liked her from just the little sprinkles we get of her. I really liked her.
Yeah, she's fun. I like her too.
Yeah.
But yeah, her book is the next one in the series then.
Okay. Ooh, that makes me excited. I'm happy to hear that. Kelly, thank you so much for joining me for this quick shot of romance author spotlight. You guys can find all of Kelly's media links on our website, on our On the Shelf show notes. And you can find Splintered Ice in Kindle Unlimited. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Until next time, everyone, happy reading.
Find us on Instagram at Buzzing About Romance or on Twitter at Buzzing Romance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.